Hey guys, welcome back to Steve Basinger Fishing. I'm here on Lake Eufaula with that thunder right now, practicing for a Bass Nation tournament that is next weekend. Actually, it's two tournaments, one on Saturday, one on Sunday, but tournament weekend. And I'm here to get a little practice in. Today is first day, but we're gonna get some rain each day. We're gonna get rain today, we're gonna get rain tomorrow, and right now, we're sitting underneath this dock trying to avoid this lightning that it's not real close, but it's closer than I'd like it to be. So we're gonna wait it out. I'm hoping I don't have to wait too long, but I think I may be waiting like close to an hour sitting under this dock, which better safe than sorry, right? That being said, Eufaula is normally high this time of year. We're early June right now. Normally lakes, anywhere from like 3 to maybe 7 feet high at this point. And there's a bunch of bushes all around me. I don't know how well you can see any of them right now. Probably not very well. It's a bunch of buckbrush. Normally that stuff is very much in the water. The lake is real dirty, but this year it's not low. It's maybe half a foot high right now, but there's not really much water in these bushes, and this lake for Eufaula is fairly clean. I'm on one of the dirtier ends right now, but it's fairly clean. So I was hoping the lake would be high and I would be flipping bushes, but that's not really what we're doing right now. So far with the cloud cover, this bank that I've pulled in on, I've got a few bites in here that you guys will see here in a little bit, but practice a little productive so far. I'm not so mad at it. Spot wouldn't really count for nothing, I don't think. Huge hole. Okay, not gonna help whatsoever. Definitely don't need those next weekend. That one might be better. Yeah, that one's probably gonna keep. Oh, that was definitely a better fish though. I don't know. That's close to keeping, maybe. Yeah, that would probably keep. Let's see. I'm pretty sure it's got to be 14. Yes, sir, that one will be 15 inches. All right, I think we're kind of figuring a little bit out. I've been on a buzzbait deal all day. It's a little afternoon now. I'm still getting bites on a buzzbait. Obviously, we've got this cloud cover. We've been getting all this rain, so it's pretty conducive to a topwater bite. But in my tournament next weekend, it's supposed to be raining then too. So maybe this works out. What I've been finding is they, for whatever reason, I don't know why, but they want to be on these more kind of flat banks closer to the main lake, or I say main lake, main river channel, I should say, and not on the bank. You know, here at Eufaula, in my experience, it typically is like this: the fish don't live there. They can live as shallow as they want. I mean, sometimes you're catching them so shallow. I say sometimes, a lot of times you're catching them so shallow here, it's amazing you don't see their back sticking out of the water. It's kind of crazy. Well, today, you would think with the cloud cover and everything, that's where they'd want to be. You got a bunch of fresh water flowing into the lake, because, like, honestly, it's dumped on me all day. But they're not. I've been keeping the boat in about 5 feet of water, and I'm probably casting into 2 to 3. And I'm just covering water with it, and that's really how I'm getting my bites. I've had a couple miss it. I've had, of largemouth, I've had, I think, 3 or 4 keepers that I've actually caught, a few others that came off at the boat or missed it, you know, so I'm just marking where I'm getting quality bites. Now, you know, the best 5, even if I'd have landed everything, probably not even going 12 pounds, but it's a good start. You know, it's a solid start limit, and then we figure out some bigger bites from there. So yeah, I'm not all that mad at today. That's probably a keeper. Probably pretty close. All right, so since you guys seen practice, we're gonna roll right into the tournament footage. It's two days. The first day is Saturday, second day is Sunday, and they're separate tournaments. Same Bass Nation, but it was not a 2-day tournament. They're individual tournaments. So here we go, rolling right into day 1. I remember fishing Cobb. We fished Foss a couple times.
Foss, I like Foss.
It was never good to me, but it is a place I'd like to go back to for sure.
Foss got a good smallmouth population.
Yeah,
now.
yeah, there were some good smallmouth caught. Nope. That'll keep.
Yeah, that'll keep. Buzzbait?
Yep. Well, when he first hit, I thought he looked like this, and then the way he fought, I thought he was a lot bigger.
Another one.
Better one. I say better. He's better, but he's still not good.
188 instead of 187.
Okay, day 1. Did not go great. I weighed in only 2 fish. I don't even remember what my weight was, but I know it put me in the middle of the pack as far as what I finished. So not a great finish, but it's a stingy lake this time of year. Things I struggled with, okay? In practice, 3 days of practice is what I put in. I figured out shallow stuff, right? I never tried to figure out deep stuff, and that's where things went wrong. And when I say deep, I don't mean like offshore ledge, like not that kind of stuff. The problem with this particular lake and me is this is the lake that I grew up on. This is where I learned how to fish. This is where I, got that fishing bug that we all get. And I was stubborn. I was not so much fishing history as far as spots, but fishing the lake how my childhood taught me it should be fished. And you hear me talk about it in the intro about how my experience taught me that fish live very shallow on this lake. And I don't know, maybe they still do. Maybe it's just not this time of year. But that never happened. The lake was high and rising. Like the first day of practice, I think it was a half a foot high. And by the beginning of the next day of practice, it was already close to 1.5 feet high. And by the time the tournament started, it was 2 feet high. Experience always taught me rising water. You follow the fish. They just keep going, moving with the shoreline, going up as shallow as they can. And on that lake, experience taught me that they would get in those bushes. And let me tell you, I fished about every bush there was on a section of the lake over 4 or 5 days of practice and tournament. And we caught a couple of fish doing that. So in hindsight, on day 1 of the tournament, my shallow stuff really kind of petered out for reasons I couldn't explain. I thought at least the cloud cover of the rain would keep the buzzbait thing happening. It wasn't. And then, I don't want to say out of panic, but just out of desperation, let's try something else. I ran to a different part of the lake, and nothing really came of that. That's why you didn't really see it in the video. We did that like last couple hours of the day, just trying to make something happen, and it didn't. So, that being said, hindsight being 2020, I should have found something just a little bit deeper. We're going to roll into the next day of the tournament, and I'm going to talk about after that what it was I should have did.
I was catching pike because I was getting bit off.
Oh yeah.
Even with 25-pound braid wasn't good enough. They just chewed it up.
Yeah, it's like they're just little razor blades for feet. But that was my running joke with them all the time.
Okay, I'm ready.
I don't think he's. Oh, I thought he was in there.
I did too.
Thank you.
No, it wasn't the one I caught, because the one I caught was sickly. I think that one's gonna measure.
Well, I barely had him hooked. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna keep.
I think he is. I think he hits the line. I think he do.
He's getting smaller than me. Come on. Ooh,
Right there.
my man.
Not how you start, is it?
Knock it off. Okay.
Don't even have to measure that one.
That was bigger than the last one. All right, last day of the tournament. That sucked too. I only got 2 keeper bites the whole day. I'll tell you what, in both the days of the tournament, I fished pretty clean. I didn't lose any fish, so that's nice. I also just didn't get bites, so that also means I sucked So that sucks. But this day, I stayed in the same area of the lake I started on, but I just thought I would just hunker down, stick with it. Maybe I could finesse some of those less active fish to bite. Like, I still, even right now, I believe those fish were there. But what I think now is they just weren't as shallow as I thought. And as I look back on it, I can also say there were some signs telling me these fish weren't that shallow. They weren't as shallow as I was casting. They weren't as shallow as I was fishing. And by that, I mean, I would keep the boat in probably about 5 to 7 feet of water. I'm casting up to probably 2 or 3. When I would get my bites, it's coming out probably in that 3 to 4 foot range, maybe 5 foot range. And also, there were shad everywhere, but where you would see the shad was probably as shallow as that 3 to 4 foot range, and then on out towards deeper water. Same thing I'd notice on my electronics. As I'd be idling into an area I'd fish, the shad would be probably thickest in that 10 to 12 foot range, starting in that 10 to 12 foot range and then coming up shallower. So I had the signs telling me that I should fish shallower, but I was not seeing those signs until after it was all over and I just out-stubborned myself. Sometimes fishing's that way. We can all be idiots. We're idiots more often than we're geniuses, if I'm being real. So what I wish I would have did in hindsight on both days and in practice in general, I found shallow stuff. What I wish I would have did is just went and looked for deeper stuff. Whether that means I was legitimately finding isolated brush piles or deep drop-off things, but really, and I'm kind of relying on old experience here, so this could be wrong, I bet I could have got bites fishing the same stretches of bank, if you will, where I caught them shallow, but just moving out a little bit deeper. You know, maybe throwing a jig or a Texas rig worm, a Carolina rig, something, putting the boat in maybe 15 and casting up into that 5 to 7 foot range and just dragging around. Maybe a crankbait, maybe something like that. Maybe I still could have caught those fish that I was fishing over the top of them, I'm betting. I don't know. I wish I could do it over and figure it out again. I do think some of this, because as I was talking to guys in the weigh-in line with my 2 piddly fish, and there weren't very many weigh-ins, or weren't very many limits weighed in, if I'm being real, but I did hear one of the guys that did pretty well talking about throwing at some isolated rock piles, which kind of tells me it was a little bit deeper deal. Doesn't mean it's necessarily deep water, particularly on that lake, but I don't know. Just things that kind of, if I'm putting all this stuff together after the fact, it's probably what I should have been doing. So anyways, that's enough self-pity for me. I've got another tournament coming up next weekend. I'm going to be in northern Iowa on a lake that I used to fish a lot. If you follow this channel, I'll be on Okoboji. And hopefully we'll have a video out of that with something a little more successful. I'm not going to pretend we're going to get a win out of this, but I just want to go rip on some, man, and that lake's full of them. So, till the next time, folks, we'll see you on the water.